Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's EricRayweather back here with the latest Madden 22 title update. We've been waiting. Wasn't really sure if it was going to drop this week, but they did actually drop a new update earlier this morning. So we're going to go over everything that's in this update. Also talk about some upcoming stuff that should still be coming this month as well. If you're new to the channel and you don't want to miss out on any of those future updates, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you don't miss any of these videos when they go live. So they start off by saying, "Thank you for playing Madden 22. We feel the excitement from you each year, and we know how passionate you are about the game. We've loved seeing your response to new features like game day momentum and our improvements to franchise. We have much more content to come." Now, that's interesting that they put that in this blog. They have much more content to come because we are in February, and we do know there are a lot of things that were promised to us that we still haven't gotten yet. The remaining 2 franchise updates, which we've yet to hear anything about what's coming in the next franchise update. We still have more playbook updates that they owe us and things like that as well. So it's kind of interesting to say there's much more to come, but this late in the year, I don't know how much people are into it. They kind of want the stuff already. They're tired of waiting. But today we do have an update. So mainly what we're seeing today is they finally gave us new X Factor and Superstar players. Now, last year they kind of dropped the ball with this. They only updated them one time throughout the year, which is pretty bad. This year they did one earlier in the year, and they said towards the end of the season they would do another one. So this is likely going to be the final Superstar and X Factor update of the year that we get. But we do got a lot of players moving up. We got players moving down as well. But there's also quite a few players that I feel like got snubbed, which we will talk about too. So let's start with the new X Factor players. We have 3 new X Factor players. Last update we saw more than 3. I think we saw about 8. This time they didn't move as many people up. The first one is Jonathan Taylor, one of the most deserving. He was the best running back this season with Derrick Henry going out halfway through the year. Jonathan Taylor went absolutely nuts. He's going to be an offensive player of the year candidate with Cooper Kupp. So obviously Jonathan Taylor had to move up. He gets the Freight Train X Factor, which in my opinion is the best X Factor for running backs. Once you activate this, it is a problem to bring these guys down. And we know Jonathan Taylor's a guy that is hard to bring down. He does truck people pretty consistently. So this is the right X Factor for him. It's also the same one Derrick Henry has. And when you got this activated, it is very, very difficult to tackle. Now, he also has a ton of amazing abilities to go along with this. He's got probably the 2 best abilities for a running back. He has armbar and he has jukebox. Both of these are the best open field abilities. Armbar allows you to pretty much stiff arm people to the ground with ease, and jukebox gives you the super fast, hard to tackle juking animations, and he has those all game long because those aren't X Factor. So Jonathan Taylor is super juiced. He's definitely the best overall running back in the game when you consider these abilities. And on top of that, he has closer, which is fine, but he also has matchup nightmare, which is going to help him catching the ball versus linebackers. If he's one-on-one with a linebacker, he's pretty much going to win that catch every time. Next up is rookie Micah Parsons. I'm actually surprised he's jumping all the way up to X Factor because they usually don't do this with rookies, but he was an outstanding rookie, pretty easily going to be the defensive rookie of the year, and he's got a lot of good stuff as well. He's got the Unstoppable Force X Factor, which essentially means when you get him in the zone, he's going to shed the blocks almost instantly every time. He's going to be very hard to block. He's going to get to the QB in like 2 seconds flat. You're gonna have to get the ball out quick. Now, he has some other great regular abilities as well, which I love. He's got Out of My Way, which is gonna help him in the run game. It's gonna be very hard for people to block him when it's a run play. He'll be able to shed run blocks pretty easily. So if you're like trying to run the ball to the outside and he's lined up on that outside, it's gonna not be a good idea. He also has Edge Threat, which is one of the better pass rushing abilities, which is similar to the Unstoppable Force X Factor, except it's not quite as good as Unstoppable Force because of, of course, it's an X Factor, but Edge Threat is going to pretty much make him shed the blocks on the edge when he's rushing. About half the time he'll probably get a pretty quick shed, so you have to really be aware of him on the field. And he's also got Secure Tackler, which is another pretty good ability. This is going to help him more in the open field, maybe in the run game. He's not going to be a guy you can easily juke, stiff arm, or truck. He's going to wrap up and put you to the ground. So just an all-around really good amount of abilities for Micah Parsons. And finally, Justin Jefferson. I feel like this should have happened in the last update, but I guess better late than never. Finally, one of the best receivers in the league is an X Factor player. He has the Double Me X Factor, which is the best one for receivers, meaning when he gets in the zone, if you don't have 2 players on him, he's going to pretty much go up an aggressive catch over you one-on-one every single time. Now, I think it would have probably been better to give him the rack 'em up ability because Justin Jefferson is not the guy that kind of goes up and like mosses people all the time. He's more of a guy that kind of can run by you with good route running, and he kind of catches it in stride. But either way, for game purposes, double me is actually better. He's also got some other abilities. Some of these he had already because he was a superstar. I don't remember which ones he had exactly, but he has outside apprentice, which gives him extra hot routes on the outside. He's got route technician, one of the best abilities for receivers. If you try to man him up, he's going to pretty much cook you on any route. And he's got deep out elite and short and elite, which gives him better catching and route running on those type of routes. Now, we also got quite a few players that were upgraded to superstar. The first is JC Jackson, another guy that I felt like should have got upgraded last update. He is going to have the acrobat and the pick artist ability, which are the two best abilities by far for cornerbacks in this year's game. Acrobat means he can make those diving, crazy interceptions that it almost doesn't look like he has a chance to get. He can kind of like dive from out of nowhere 5 yards away and get his hands on the ball. And pick artist just basically means when he does get his hands on the ball, he's pretty, unlikely to drop it, which is good because drop picks are a big thing in this game. Pick artist kind of ensures that you don't drop them. Next up, we have Deontay Johnson finally bumping up to superstar. He's going to get the short and elite and the short out elite abilities, which just basically means on any short route to the inside or the outside, he's going to get better route running and better catching. So specifically, if you try to man this guy up on a short route, he's probably going to cook you. Next up is Jordan Poyer, another guy that's past due. Now, his teammate Micah Hyde, the other safety, has abilities. Now Jordan Poyer has them too. So really tough safety tandem for the Bills in the game. He's going to have the deep out zone knockout and the mid zone knockout. So basically where he's going to benefit the most on the deep out zone knockout is like if he's in a cover 2 shell, if he's in a deep blue that covers half of the field. So mainly you see that in a cover 2 defense or a 2-man under defense. So basically if you're playing cover 2, he's going to have a lot of good reactions outside the numbers. And then the mid zone KO is basically when he's in more of like a yellow type zone, like a hook zone, playing underneath, kind of playing that robber role. He's going to be really good in those zones as well. Next up is Cordell Patterson, another guy that definitely deserved to get bumped up after the year that he had. He gets the backfield master, which is another one of the top abilities for running backs, which basically means he's going to get 4 additional hot routes and he gets better catching with those routes versus like linebackers and stuff like that, which is pretty good for Cordell because he is a big time receiving back. So he's going to get all those extra routes and he's going to run them better and he's going to catch better versus linebackers. Very good abilities for him there. He also has recuperation, which isn't the biggest of deals. It's just going to help him with stamina. Next up, we have Kenny Clark. Now, he had got demoted a while back, and now he's finally getting bumped back up to superstar. He's going to have inside stuff and unpredictable. Inside stuff is extremely good against inside runs. You love to have that. And unpredictable is just good for pass rushing. It's going to allow him to kind of get more block sheds because he's an unpredictable pass rusher. And finally here we have Jeffrey Simmons, another guy that's definitely earned this. He's up to superstar. He has El Toro and Run Stopper, 2 really good abilities. El Toro is going to help him with bull rushing towards the quarterback. He's going to basically plow over people more often because he is so strong. And Run Stopper is just probably the all-around best run stopping ability. If you try to run at Jeffrey Simmons' directions, there's a good chance he's going to kind of shed the block and he's going to wrap you up. It's not really advised to run towards him when he has this ability. Now let's talk about the players that got demoted really quickly. So we have 3 players demoted from X Factor because they only keep it at 50 players. So if they gave 3 players the X Factor, they had to remove 3 players. And the 3 players they removed were Fletcher Cox, Amari Cooper, and Ezekiel Elliott. They have been downgraded to superstar, which isn't the biggest of deals because this is the thing with the game. The X Factor players, it sounds cool, but really the X Factors, they don't get activated that often anyway. There's only, 2 or 3 of them that are even really that good when they are activated. So not the biggest of the deal. The most important thing are the regular abilities that you have on every play. So for these 3 players, it's really not going to affect them that much. Ezekiel Elliott last 2 years just hasn't been at the same level that he was the years prior. Amari Cooper, was a little bit injured this year, and even when he played, he wasn't a top guy this year, so I kind of see them being demoted. Not really sure about Fletcher Cox. I feel like Fletcher Cox was still playing at a pretty high level, but nonetheless, he's demoted. And then we have 4 players that have been demoted from superstar to having nothing at all. Those 4 players are Grady Jarrett, Andrew Whitworth, James Bradbury, and Aaron Jones. Now, I'm still surprised at a few players. I'm surprised Jamar Chase didn't get bumped up to X Factor because he's been just as dominant on offense as Michael Parsons has been on defense. Micah Parsons got the bump all the way up. Jamar Chase has not. Joe Burrow still has nothing, which is crazy. The man is in the Super Bowl. He's been having a postseason run for the ages. He's had a great second year, and he doesn't even have superstar abilities. That seems like a complete miss. I'm sure there's some other players that I can't just quite think about off the top of my head, but those are two that really stuck out to me, especially given the fact of, how they've played this season for that team. Also, another quick update. They did announce they officially bumped Tom Brady up to a 99 overall. I guess because he's retiring, it's kind of just like a salute to Tom Brady. He already was like a 96 or a 97 in the game, so it's not really like a super unrealistic bump or anything. I don't know if it's going to just be for a week or if they're just going to keep him there for the rest of the year. Sometimes they bump people up after they retire for a week. They haven't done it with Big Ben this year, I don't think, though, so we'll see. They might leave him there, or it might just be like a little like salute to him for a week, but for the time being, when they update the rosters later today, he will be a 99 overall. Now, that's all that's in the update today. They didn't do any gameplay changes, any franchise changes, which makes me think there is another update coming this month. This seems like just an X Factor update that they wanted to get out there. There's still a bunch of other things they need to address, so I do think we're going to get something else this month. I'll keep you guys in the loop, but as always, I will see you guys next time.